Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so much for dreaming big dreams and doing unprecedented things. Your entire life you have stood for doing things that other people thought they couldn't do and accomplishing unprecedented events and achievements. And so this is one of those events that I think is going to be remarkable and will stand the test of time as the world's greatest sporting event ever held and conducted. You are honoring us by agreeing to be the chairman of this event.
Donald Trump's brain is mush. His cognitive decline is clear. And while the mainstream media won't talk about it, I certainly will. But what's so crazy is they are observing it. We saw it today in an Oval Office press conference in which Donald Trump was questioned over his deal-making by a reporter. And it became abundantly clear to everyone in the room, including Donald Trump's aides behind him, that he has completely forgotten or doesn't understand anything happening in his administration because his brain is that bad. And we are going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, there were two events in which Donald Trump was asked questions today, but I want to start with the first one in which she went on this insane rant attacking President Obama for some reason, as you can see right here.
About all of the events that will be happening here in the U.S. over the next few years. You mentioned the G7 and you said it used to be called the G8.
Yeah.
As the host country, you can actually invite Russia to the G7 plus one. What's your thinking on that right now, Mr.
Well, Russia used to be a member of what was called then the G8. And I don't think I was really in politics at that point, but I know that President Obama didn't like it. And they voted Russia out. And I say if they didn't vote Russia out, which I thought was a very foolish decision because it's a group of people sitting around a table. I've done it many times with them, and you get to know them. And I say that if it was the G8, if Russia were in it, I think you probably wouldn't have this ridiculous, deadly war going on right now. I thought it was a very bad decision. It was headed by Trudeau, by the way, and Obama. They were the ones that really fought hard to get Russia out. I think if Russia were in, you wouldn't be. They threw them out. And because of that, maybe millions of people are dying. Millions, millions. The numbers are far greater than you think. But millions of people are dying. If he was sitting around a table with other people, 7 people, hammering him and saying, let's not do this, I think you wouldn't probably have had the problems that you've had.
Donald Trump keeps extending the list of people he would rather blame for the war in Ukraine that Russia started, not name Russia. It's not Putin's fault that Putin invaded Ukraine. It's Barack Obama's fault, or the G7, or President Zelensky, or President Zelensky's suits. Like, how do we keep doing this? This is just humiliating. And Donald Trump continues to humiliate himself as he was talking about his deals right here. And it's what led to the question that eventually shows how bad his brain is.
And the Houthis. Yeah.
Announce later this week.
Well, I can announce all of them now. I could announce 50 to 100 deals right now because, I'm the shopkeeper and I keep the store. And, I know what countries are looking for and I know what we're looking for. And I can just set those terms and they can go shopping or they don't have to go shopping because everybody wants to shop here. This is like a beautiful store. This is like one of Bernard Arnault, or maybe I should say Alex, even more importantly, young, the future. But Bernard's an honor to have you. We'll have a meeting after this. But he has the greatest stores in the world, and they want to shop. Our country is the greatest store in the world of that kind, and everybody wants a piece of it. And they took advantage of us for years because we allowed our presidents allowed it to happen. I don't blame.
So Donald Trump attacking Letitia James, attacking President Obama, screaming that he can get deals done. His focus is clearly on nothing except his anger, really. But he's talking about deals, right? He's talking about deals. Deals are on the mind. But what happens when he's asked about those deals? Well, just take a look right here.
Mr. President, there's a report that the UK is offering various trade concessions. What's your response to that? And also,
who, what?
The United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And can you also say if you were discussing tariffs with Mr. Arnault?
And what about the United Kingdom?
They're offering various trade concessions, apparently, cars, steel, digital services.
They're offering us concessions? I hope so.
President, you're saying that
They do want to make a deal very badly.
Did you say your guests here, are you discussing tariffs or business?
No, I think that United Kingdom, like every other country, they want to be go shopping in the United States of America. China wants to, very much wants to make a deal. They all do. But yeah, I would say that every country wants to make a deal, and not the ones they had in the past where we were like, look, we were being ripped off by every country practically without exception in the entire world. And those days are over. Those days are over. And, you know, I said before in our meeting with the new and very talented Prime Minister of Canada that we have some very big announcement to make. It's not about trade. It's about something else, but it's going to be a truly earth-shattering and positive development for this country and for the people of this country. And that'll take place sometime within the next few days.
So Donald Trump is asked by a reporter about concessions that the UK might be willing to make in a potential deal. Not only is he not able to understand the question, he can't either hear it or process it, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know about negotiations that he claims to know about, or he can't remember them, or he doesn't understand. But you can clearly tell by the people around him, like looking back and forth, and the confused nature in which the reporter is asking this question, that Donald Trump is just completely unaware of everything happening around him. His brain is just mush. The cognitive decline couldn't be clear. He either can't remember or can't process information. And all the while, you see the mainstream media either patting themselves on the back or attacking themselves for not having covered President Biden enough when his age is all they ever talked about. And now, Donald Trump is melting down before our eyes. Clearly cognitively impaired, and they don't say anything. It's insane. But the only person really talking about this in a way that shows just how connected Donald Trump's cognitive decline is to the crazy actions he takes every day is Jared Moskowitz, who is talking about the reason we're bringing back Alcatraz.
It's lucky timing for me. So, 3 times more expensive than any prison to operate in 1959, Alcatraz was, okay? It needs about $250 million to shore up the infrastructure and utilities. All food and water has to be barged in, sewage has to be barged out. The facility is almost 100 years old. And so I don't get it. In the days of DOGE, where we're cutting budgets, we gotta find savings, now we're gonna what? We're gonna cut Medicaid and SNAP so that we can pour money into Alcatraz. First of all, have you been to Alcatraz recently? It literally is it's a rust box walking around. You need a tetanus shot just to go into the building. Do we still give tetanus shots, or has RFK gotten rid of those? I can't keep up. And so listen, where did the president get this idea all of a sudden? Right? Where did he get the idea? Perhaps he was watching Escape from Alcatraz, right? And I brought boards because some people are visual learners. Perhaps he was watching Escape from Alcatraz by Clint Eastwood. Actually, funny part about that, it was actually on television in South Florida. It was on PBS South Florida over the weekend when Trump was at Mar-a-Lago. In fact, he made his announcement just hours after it aired. You know PBS, the programming that he's trying to get rid of, so just in case you're keeping up, right? It's 2 dolls for girls and 0 Elmos, okay? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe he was watching The Rock with Sean Connery. You know this one. This is where Sean Connery goes back to Alcatraz because he originally escaped Alcatraz and he needed like an expert on chemical weapons. Maybe the president was just Netflixing and chilling, like watching The Rock, which is not to be confused with The Rock, right? That's a different person. And then the president's really excited about these sharks. Right? He's talking about all the sharks and the person escaped. He lost his clothing. So, you know, sharks, they don't have laser beams on. They don't have laser beams, but maybe the sharks are going to be there. So this is just all ridiculous. But then all of a sudden after that, we heard like, oh, we're going to tariff the movies. Well, hold on a second. Why would we tariff the movies? This is where the president is getting his ideas from. We can't tariff the policy idea making of the presidency. And look, I know what my colleagues are going to say. They're going to say, Jared, just let the president cook. This is 4D chess he's playing. And I'm going to say, maybe he's just watching late night movies. Perhaps he's just watching late night movies. In fact, we're told he got this movie tariff idea from no other than John Voight, you know, the guy who was in that great movie Anaconda. I don't know if you've seen that. And so this is the ridiculousness that's going on. So I want to end with this. Mr. Pearl, you run a faith-based organization, right? No? Oh, it's Mr. Wild, you run the faith-based organization. Sorry. You think it's a good idea to reopen Alcatraz? You think the faith-based community has been pounding the table to reopen Alcatraz?
Prison Fellowship stance is that prisons should be safe, effective, efficient, and uphold human dignity.
Okay, let me make it easier for you. All four of you, which one of you think we should reopen Alcatraz? Just raise your hand. Okay, so for my colleagues who sometimes, are a little slow, no one raised their hand. Okay, nobody, not a single witness. None of your witnesses here think we should reopen Alcatraz. And so, we have real problems in the prison system. It does need reform. It does need money. We can work on that together. But the president puts out Alcatraz as a distraction. Thank you.
This is crazy. We have a television president making decisions based on what he sees on TV. Is this what we like, how we want our country run? We need to program in some very specific cable into the Mar-a-Lago area. Can we put in some Joe Biden speeches or some Barack Obama speeches or any movie about a competent president? Oh my God. He's making decisions based on what's on cable. Oh, and it's not just me, and it's not just you who finds this crazy. The person who had the most up-close and personal view of Donald Trump today did as well.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister Tana McCharles, Toronto Star. I was watching your face through the meeting in the Oval Office, and I wondered what was going through your mind when the President talked about erasing the artificial border and how he criticized your predecessor and Madam Freeland.
Thank you for your question. I'm glad that you couldn't tell what was going through my mind as that was going through. With respect to the first point, the President has made known his wish about that issue for some time. I've been careful always to distinguish between wish and reality. I was clear there in the Oval Office, as I've been clear throughout on behalf of Canadians, that this is never going to happen. Canada is not for sale and never will be for sale. Some things, as I said in the room, some things are never for sale. And he agreed with that. I distinguish between the two, and then with respect to the importance of reestablishing a constructive relationship for negotiations of a partnership, of an economic and security partnership, which is what we were here for. I look forward, not back, and I think we established a good basis today.
I feel you, Mark Carney. And he handled himself. The Prime Minister did really well in that room. And I love that he just kept shutting down Trump on that 51st state, calling him out, much like we're going to be on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.